I never wanted to do it again. I was married once before. Done. Could never even entice me to think about it.
Previously, I was married 2 times before.
First time I met Ron, he was married before, and he was married to the mother of his son, and I actually was dating one of his friends at the time, and I just happened to meet him. We were getting ready to go to the lake that day with all the kids, and I was like, dang, he's attractive, but I wasn't thinking anything like, ooh. And that was about as far as it went, was that. And then I took Women in Wildland and got my Wildland certification and all that, and he happened to be my instructor for my urban interface class, and he was hot. But he started going through a separation divorce with his wife, so I didn't think anything of it other than that guy is still really hot.
The first time I saw her, I was just like, cool, nice to meet you. It was just kind of like passing by, hey, how you doing type deal. There was nothing other than that. Cool, nice to meet you type deal. And then when she took one of the classes, because she wanted to get into wildland firefighting, and it's been like a dream of hers, that stood out to me because the type of person she is, the mother she is, strong work ethic, she cares about everybody around her. And I could see that just in the way she presented herself in that atmosphere. And I was like, wow, like she's an awesome person. And then I was hanging out with one of my buddies who we had previously talked about. And I was like, man, what about, what's going on with Patrice?
He's like, he asked me about you, and I didn't know if you were single still or what's going on, but he asked me about you, and he's interested in you. And I looked at him. His name's Ty. I looked at Ty, and I was like, nope, don't want to. Absolutely not. Don't want to date.
And he's like, nope, too soon. Nope, not happening. I said, okay. And then he had kind of reached out to her. He ran into her at like a Circle K or something. And he's like, hey, Ronnie was asking about you. And she's like, nope, not happening.
But then after that, we just kind of kept running into each other at school pickup. And he would try to talk to me, and I'd be like, hi, bye. Nope, I'm not going to be a rebound. I'm not going to be anything like that. We
were kind of the acquaintance thing. Our kids went to the same school. I had gotten out of my past relationship, going through a divorce. I kind of stayed to myself for a good 5-6 months. Didn't really, just worked, focused on myself, my kids, stuff like that. And I would run into her from time to time at the school and kind of ask her, hey, how's life going?
And then it was Christmas Eve at one of our church services, and he walked in the door, and I remember I looked up and I saw him, and it was like slow motion.
Christmas Eve of 2020. I went into church and she was there, and I was just kind of on a mission mindset, doing my own thing, going into church, sit down, praise the Lord on Christmas Eve, then go spend the night with my kids. And I'm walking in, and I could just hear something kind of in the background, like, hey, Ron. And I look, and it's her.
It was seriously like, it was slow motion, and I just was like, wow, Ron's here. And before I even knew what I was saying, I was like, hey, Ronnie. And he looked over, he's like, oh, hey, Patrice. And right when he looked over at me, I was like, why did you say anything? Inside of me, I was like, shut your mouth. No, you don't want anything. No. And
I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I gave her a hug, and we chit-chatted for a minute. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go in. And she's like, oh, okay. At that moment, once I hugged her, I felt like an instant connection. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever gone through, in the weirdest place. To me, I still don't understand it today, but I'm glad it put me where I am. So then at that same moment, one of her friends, who's a good friend of both of ours, saw her come in and then saw me there and was like, oh my gosh, Ronnie and Patrice would be a great couple. So we get out of church, and we're sitting there talking, and it was just this connection was drawing me to her. And it was I still to this day can't explain it. It trips me out every time.
We started talking the next day on social media, and we went on our first date on New Year's Day. after Christmas.
Like, she reached out that Christmas day. She messaged me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think she would, or whatever. So we started talking, so we started dating, we hung out, and we've been inseparable since.
About 4 or 5 months into us dating, I knew that he was different. He treated me different than anybody else, and he just adored me right away.
Probably about 6 to 7 months in, I knew.
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's when all of my siblings and I are together. It happens once a year. We have busy lives everywhere else. So we always make sure that Thanksgiving, our family comes together. And
she is super big on Thanksgiving. It's her holiday. It comes around fall time. She loves getting the family together. I got everybody's blessings.
I guess he had already talked to everybody about how he was going to ask me, and he talked to my parents and got their permission. My dad was a big one. He was a hard one to crack. My dad's very protective.
I made it a choice. Okay, Thanksgiving it is. All her family was there. Everybody that was important to her was there, including some of our friends. Stuff like that. We went over to my family's house for like a breakfast just before, kind of visited there.
We were doing the prayer at Thanksgiving, and my dad always leads the prayer at Thanksgiving still. And he was like, my eyes were closed, we were all holding hands as the family, and he's like, and was saying that I'd like to pass it on to Ronnie. And I look up, I'm like, you're praying? Like, I was like so lost. I was like, really, you're praying? Because he doesn't like to pray in public or out loud. And I'm like, this is really weird. Why would dad give up his, like, not spot, but like, this is his thing, and he takes, great pride in his thing at Thanksgiving and keeping tradition together. And Ronnie grabbed me by the hand and pulled me into the middle of my mom's living room, and like his hand was shaking, and he started crying, and I was like, what is going on? I don't like being the center of attention. And he got down on one knee, and then the
And the look on her face, it was ridiculous. I got tear up just thinking about it. And she was like, oh my gosh, like now, what's going on? And I got down on one knee.
it's kind of a blur. I started crying and like, yes, of course, yes.
And she said yes.